And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and out. We also talk about promotions from the NWA, the GCW, Stardom, New Japan Professional Wrestling, also AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, and of course, WWE. If it makes major news headlines in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on the show. 1,010%. Don't you worry about it. Perfect show to watch if you're a seasoned veteran in terms of, a wrestling fan, or if you're a wrestling fan just hungry for more content, or if you're just a new wrestling fan who stumbled upon this podcast is like, you know what? I want to get professional wrestling to try. My family, the whole world is talking about it. It's a great way to start. Great place to start for every sports fan. We also have other sports like, we have basketball, we have football, we have baseball starting up again for the GSMC Sports Network. We have a bunch of other, shows that you guys can do. Fantasy sports. Everybody loves themselves some fantasy sports around the NFL season. So why not start with the GSMC Podcast Network, GSMC Sports Network, excuse me. All right, so now we're going to talk about some good old-fashioned WWE hating on on Tony Khan signing Swerve Strickland, his deal. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you guys to hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Also, make sure you hit up that super chat. Hit up that super chat box, guys. I definitely want to hear from each and every one of you guys. If you have a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are absolutely all ears, 1,010%. So be a part of the show. Don't be too shy. Don't be too shy now. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets read on air, why not use that super chat? Just hit that $sign below the chat box, and your question, comment, or concern will be featured on the show. Plus, we're able to bring you guys even more sports content. It keeps the light on in terms of just donating to the show, making sure this amazing sports network stays staying alive, staying alive. We are absolutely so grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep this party going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super, super awesome. And together we will make sure this show is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our third segment. Da, 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 da. We have Swerve Strickland talk. That's Swerve when I try, big pressure on line. Love that song. I love it. Love it. All right, so although Swerve Strickland lost his AEW World Championship to Bryan Danielson in a career versus title match, which he can't really falter Swerve for that. There's talks about Bryan Danielson winning the championship since back in April. So it feels like it's fitting for him to defeat somebody like Swerve Strickland. Like I love to say about Swerve, once when you kind of had, Cody Rhodes leave, you had CM Punk leave, the not the collaboration, what is it? The EVPs, I think they were suspended. Hangman Adam Page was suspended. Kenny Omega dealing with injury. They needed somebody to step up. They all really, really needed somebody to step up. And Swerve Strickland took the bait, and he was able to bring the company to what it is right now. And it's very, very good for them, being only 5 years in existence. Something that I love about, definitely why Swerve Strickland has quickly become one of my favorite wrestlers in terms of professional wrestling. It's just his overall capability to just produce good matches. Like every single time he was in a match, you didn't see any interference. You didn't see any bottom of the rope crap. You didn't see the referee get knocked out, unless it was in the other dude's favor. Swerve Strickland took on everybody face to face, head on, and he was able to prove why he's a worthy champion. And that title run, he won it against Samoa Joe. It was just perfect. Overall, it was just amazing. It's kind of sad to kind of see it come to an end. I thought overall, I feel like Bryan Danielson still would have, even if he lost, he still would have won. He's not going to be a full timer anymore. Even with this title, I don't think he's going to. Well, no, I don't want to say that. in his future. I don't think he's going anywhere, guys. You know, Tony Khan is so supportive of his superstars. If Bryan Danielson needs to work part-time, Tony Khan's going to let it happen. He's going to let it happen. And you have Bryan Danielson at the end of the year getting neck surgery. So that's also lingering around. So who's going to be the next one to dethrone him? I do not know. But overall, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm happy Swerve Strickland signed that contract on the 0 hour pre-show at AEW All In. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer revealed Swerve Strickland signed a 5-year deal through September of 2029. Apparently, already agreed that it was going to happen many weeks before All In. Strickland is a very rich man because of the new deal, amongst the biggest deals in professional wrestling, such as Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes in the WWE side, and Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay, and also Mercedes Moné in AEW. And he deserves that. He deserves to kind of be in that same level of these superstars. You know, right now you kind of have WWE lacking stars. Lacking stars. And if Swerve Strickland would have signed with WWE, that, oh my God, I feel like it would have been great, but I don't overall feel like that they would have really gave him all his worth. He probably would have just sunk down to be like a mid-carder again. But in AEW, I feel like they're doing great with him. I feel like, you know, they're taking care of it. I see him as a main event star. I don't want to see him go down to the AEW Continental Championship. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him go down to, it's not even go down to, or, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, trying to diminish the prestigious values of these titles, but he's an AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I don't see him as anything other than that. And that's the persona he needs to keep. I don't want this little title hiatus because, you know, you give it to Bryan Danielson because he's, he's because, you know, throughout his whole AEW 10 tenure, he didn't want to hold the championship. He said over and over again, he's like, I don't want to be champion. I don't want to be champion. And Tony Khan eventually was like, you know what? You're going to be champion whether you like it or not. So now you kind of have Swerve kind of mixing up in a little bit. I loved that they started off this feud with Hangman Adam Page. I thought overall was the right decision. Kind of happened at a perfect time. It was perfect. That's all I can really say about it. It was absolutely perfect. Because right now and I kind of talked about this on other podcasts before. You want to see Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland just go at each other without a lingering title obligation. Because imagine if Swerve Strickland was still the AEW World Championship. AEW creative would be thinking, be like, dude, I want to see these guys beat the hell out of each other, be good for the fans. But are we really going to have 3 or 4 title matches with these guys back to back to back to back? See, it's not pragmatic. It's not practical. So overall, I can understand why Tony Khan signed, a Swerve Strickland, but I don't know, just he deserved it. I feel like he deserved it. All right, so next you're going to Rich Man Amongst the Men. WWE reportedly tried to sign Swerve Strickland. Not really much of a shock there, like I said, what they would have done with Swerve Strickland, I'm not too sure. I don't think it would have been, that high end. I don't think it would have been that great. But Swerve Strickland is a very, very prominent character in AEW. WWE was trying to get Swerve and Prince Nana as a package deal, but it was quickly shut down, which was perfect, which was great. Also, they made a play at Swerve in 2022 when he originally signed with AEW. That's that's pretty interesting. I feel like they saw the potential. WWE saw the potential. They're like, but are we willing to stick our neck out for a superstar that we were not too sure back in 2022? Vince McMahon was there. We're like, we're not too sure if this guy's going to be larger than life. And is Vince gonna like him? And kind of like what you've seen with now I'm not trying to make it into that, but like usually when you see African American wrestlers in WWE, usually they're not really huge championship kind of goers. Like I feel like they dropped the ball with Bobby Lashley. Booker T had to work his arse off to be that person, but it just took that damn long. But after that, you haven't really seen anybody else. There was, of course, Kofi Mania and Big E, but I don't know. You just didn't, you don't really see like that that stronghold, holding the title. Bobby Lashley, if he resigns with WWE, he is 1,010% viewed as a main event card. He is main event guy. He's in he's like Bobby Lashley. He's like Brock Lesnar. He's like Roman Reigns. He's like Randy Orton. He's like Triple H. But WWE, they let him walk. They kind of did him dirty in his contract, his creative booking and stuff like that, which is a damn shame. But hopefully WWE weren't hurt too bad because of that. But I don't know. It should be pretty interesting what to move on from forward from here. But overall, WWE's reaction said reports that Swerve's new contract is overall bad for professional wrestling. WWE believes that Tony Khan is overspending for his superstars, and that just makes you think. Has WWE been lowballing their superstars? Like I said before, AEW is only 5 years old. WWE still feels like they can hit PLEs, showing only 5 matches, sometimes 4, and it's awful. It's a kind of a crap sandwich to swallow. But WWE got used to being this only wrestling promotion, so then they kind of had their heads up their butts a little bit, being like, "Well, where else are they gonna go?" Yeah, we can offer you this contract, but also you're going to be featured live on WWE screens on our Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You're paying for exposure too, or you're getting exposure too. So let me go ahead and lowball your contracts. Is this how they're treating this contract negotiations approach in terms of Kevin Owens? That's why they haven't came to a deal. Are they kind of approaching this with this whole Becky Lynch thing? That's the reason why she was like, you know what? I'm gone. I'm gonna weigh my options here. I'm not gonna linger on WWE because you guys quote unquote said this is the biggest offer you're gonna get. You pay for overall exposure, which is it's kind of right. It's semi right, but you got to take care of the superstars. You got to take care of your superstars. All right, guys. So our next segment, we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan is coming back to the WWE. Recently signed a 5-year contract. Good or bad? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Make sure you send me a chat of how you feel. How Hulk Hogan's going to affect WWE. So yeah, we're going to jump on into that as soon as we get done with this commercial break. So hey, do not go anywhere.